I've already spoken about my top 5 mature Japanese animated films, but the United States has also produced some animated films aimed mainly at adults. While there have always been some cartoons aimed to capture the adult audience, such as Betty Boop or the infamous Nazi propaganda animations, there was an era in the 70s and 80s where we got to see animation clearly aimed at adults only, with mature content like boobs, gritty violence, and adult situations such as drug use. The list of mature animated titles of this style outside of Japan is extremely small, and even smaller when you remove Canadian productions like rock and roll and heavy metal, or British films like Watership Down or The Plague Dogs. So my options for this list are very limited and more or less restricted to the work of one man, Ralph Bakshi. Ralph started off as an animator for various shows like Deputy Dog and the 60s Spider-Man. Eventually, he tired of producing content for children and began working on films that appealed to him, at that point a young adult. Branching away from a very conservative industry, Bakshi distanced himself from the idea that cartoons were something made only for children. As a result, he produced several successful animated films aimed at adults, covering controversial topics such as racism, transgendered individuals, sexual assault, and religion. That being said, most of these films aren't about visual splendor. Working on the fringe of the industry with limited resources, a lot of these films rely on the adult topics, storytelling, and some boobs to keep you entertained. So let's dive into my top 5 adult American animated films, which also doubles as the top 5 Ralph Bakshi films. Number 5. Fritz the Cat. Fritz the Cat is about a cat named Fritz, a 20-something, fun-loving, pot-smoking, anthropomorphic cat who has no inhibitions. It is very much a coming-of-age tale showing the life of Fritz as he experiments with drugs, sexuality, and race relations. For those reasons, this film was deemed the first ever X-rated animated film. Also, coincidentally, the first ever X-rated film to feature anthropomorphic characters. So America invented furry porn. Good job, guys. Number 4. Lord of the Rings. This was the definitive adaptation for a long time. It's the version I grew up with, and if you don't compare it to the big budget 2001 version, it might even be considered impressive. But in 2001, they had like $90 million more to work with, so we're gonna cut Ralph a break here and give him a pat on the back for a very accurate take on the epic story.
You cannot pass!
Number 3. Fire and Ice. Fire and Ice takes place in a dark fantasy world. You know, the kind of place where men ride pterodactyls and women wear skimpy bikinis to run around the forest. The mix of live-action rotoscoping and watercolor backgrounds works very well, being probably Bakshi's best-looking work. Which is good, because the dialogue and story is only lightly scattered between the spectacular set pieces and action scenes. Number 2. Wizards. Wizards is set in a post-apocalyptic future where a terrorist attack evolves the human race to become twisted and mutated. In this world, 2 wizards born of the same mother feud. Avatar, our main protagonist, is a good wizard, and follows the way of nature, while his brother Blackthorn uses ancient Nazi technology to his advantage. This theme is illustrated visually as traditional animation versus rotoscope and live-action documentary footage from World War II. This one is actually rated PG, and I'm not sure if it fits on the list.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, why don't you sit there for a couple hours while I figure it out?
Okay.
Yeah, I think we're okay. Number 1. American Pop. American Pop is an exploration of the last century of American culture through music. The plot follows a family of musicians through several generations. The soundtrack here is amazing, leading you along with the mood and its highs and lows as the family deals with mafia ties, war, and drug abuse. This is one of Bakshi's finest works as a director. There you have it, my top 5 American adult animated films, all made by the same guy. These films opened the door for the mature animation industry, and Ralph continues to pursue his passion for animation. He has recently crowdfunded another animated project, The Last Days of Coney Island. It's because of the work of Ralph Bakshi that we're able to have the adult-oriented television shows that we have today, like The Simpsons, Ren and Stimpy, Beavis and Butthead, The Head, The Max, Aeon Flux, Duckman, Archer, Family Guy, Todd McFarlane's Spawn, and Robot Chicken, just to name a few. As technology grows, so does our culture. Animation is easier and more cost-effective than ever before. So it's no surprise that we're starting to see a lot of animation aimed at mature audiences from television, films, video games, and the internet. It's natural for us humans to want to push society's barriers. It's how we advance, so I'm interested in seeing where we go from here. My name is Fade Dragontier, and those are my thoughts. What are yours? Leave a comment below.